Hello, I'm Dango Rose. Welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. The Mountaineer brings you the latest news of the Peak to Peak region, in print, online, through our podcast, social media, and special publications. Now, listen in to the latest news of the area with our local journalists.
Talk to God, she's a friend of mine. She helps me go outside, brings me back to life. But I had to kill her in my head that night. I wanna sleep in your golden light. I wanna dance the round and not get tired. I wanna kiss the ground and set the world on fire.
The song that you are currently listening to is called Rot, and it is by Nat Lefkoff from his latest album, There You Are, which you can stream along with his first two albums, Nat Lefkoff and Heavy Lifting, wherever you get your music. You can also learn more about him by going to his Instagram and Facebook at Nat Lefkoff, or by going to his website at natlefkoff.com. Be sure to check him out in the Peak to Peak area at the Gold Hill General Store very soon. More details coming up later in the podcast.
I wanna paint them blue. Sometimes he loves me like an animal, like an afterthought. But the axe of God is swinging low, so don't get caught or cut to pieces on the open.
Hello there, everybody. My name is Jamie Lammers, and welcome to this week's edition of Music of the Mountains, Where to Be and What to See, brought to you by the Mountaineer Podcast. This time on a Saturday instead of on a Friday. Sorry about that. Yesterday totally got away from me and I had a completely chaotic evening, so I wasn't able to finish the podcast the way that I expected. But we're here now, and I am very excited to bring this interview to you this week and introduce a guest from out of state who is coming to the Peak to Peak area. Our guest this week, do you mind introducing yourself real quick?
Yeah, my name is Nat Lefkoff. I'm a full-time musician, performing, recording, singing the songs, based out of the Sacramento, California area.
Now, you may be based in California, but you'll be coming to perform at the Gold Hill General Store very soon.
Yeah, that's correct. In mid-September, I'm dropping a new album and setting out in my minivan to hit the road for something like 60 or 70 days and going as far as Wisconsin and Illinois and then down to Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, and cutting back. I'm kind of doing it's a little loop, but cutting through Utah, Colorado, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Southern California, and then back up to Northern California where I'm based.
Okay.
But the Gold Hill store is awesome. I played there in February of this year, and I think his name is Mark, or maybe it's Mike, the guy that runs it. He was so kind, and just had a great experience. The audience was cool. Gold Hill itself is just from another time. I had the fortune of being able to show up early there and just kind of walk around, and just have never seen a place like that, so excited to be back.
I want to give a full shout out to Mike McNett and co-owner Whitey DeBrow of the Gold Hill General Store. For additional context as to some of the dates that we'll be talking about a bit later on in the podcast, this interview was initially recorded on June 27th, 2024. That's right, I knew I wanted to promote this particular show all the way back in June, and I have been saving this interview until this point. So how did you get started in music in the first place? What's your musical journey been like?
Yeah, I mean, I started at a super young age. I was like 9, writing songs and stuff, and they were, of course, terrible. But yes, I stuck with it as sort of like a hobby and then a passion, and had several bands throughout junior high school and high school, and just got comfortable performing at local bars and spots around here in Davis. And I went up to Washington for college and formed some projects there and doing a lot of house shows. And that's sort of when I started doing DIY touring. And more recently, pre-COVID, I was a teacher in the Santa Cruz area. And I was actually gearing up to do music full time. I had figured out a spot where I had a residency, so I had a steady paycheck. Not a paycheck, but I had some income. I was looking at it all and I was like, I can cover my rent and I can eat beans and ramen and lettuce until I figure out what comes next. And I put in a 2-month notice with my work. And my last Friday, they sent everybody home because the lockdowns were starting to go into place. So yeah, I had to table that for a while. I got a job working disaster relief around COVID sites, quarantine centers, and homeless shelters, and just kind of put my head down for a year and a half and made some money doing that. And I started to just kind of stress out, like, is this going to be the rest of my life? You know, good pay. I don't love the work, but it's good work. I just felt like I was compromising and letting go of my dreams. And yeah, I just had a moment where it was actually in a dream. There was someone in a dream singing a song, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and that was like the chorus to a song of mine called Heavy Lifting. And it just kind of struck me. The next morning I got up, listened back to what I had recorded, and I was just like, okay, this is it. This is my sign to myself to pull the cord and do music full time. So now it's been 3 years, and it's just been growing. I feel so fortunate. Best job I ever had. A lot of hard work for sure. A lot of scary investments, like buying 1,000 t-shirts at a time. Just, you know, dropping $7.5K on t-shirts and just thinking like, oh, hope I sell all these. And yeah, just kind of going for it. Just saying yes to stuff, and it's just been amazing. I've gotten to play for all sorts of audiences, all sorts of audience sizes, performing with all sorts of bands, meeting all these great musicians, and I feel so supported by everyone who I consider to be part of my team or in my circle. Yeah, long-winded answer, but that's how I kind of got into it, and I'm looking to do this for hopefully the rest of my life.
By the way, to emphasize just how important Heavy Lifting as a song was to Nat, he ended up making it the title track of his sophomore album, which again we'll promote with his other material a little later on. Are there any particular influences that have stuck out to you over the years since you started your musical journey?
I think the biggest one is I just like, as a kid driving around in the car with my dad, listening to Neil Young especially, and he would kind of pause. My dad would pause the music and be like, oh, did you hear that line? Like, that's such a good line. And we'd go back and listen to it on the CD and just be like, oh yeah, that is a great line, and talk about it. And so I think, yeah, just I really admire his songwriting. I mean, so many other people's songwriting, but that was probably like the first real big one that had an impact on me. And since then, it's just like there's probably thousands of people who have influenced me, but I'm so very focused on the song itself. I'm not so much a musician. I can get by, but the thing that interests me the most is the interaction of the poetry and the music and the structure of the song and how it all comes together. The art of songwriting, not so much the art of music, if that makes sense.
So it sounds like you primarily perform originals at your shows.
Yeah, almost exclusively. I'll do covers every now and then, depending on... I book, like, bar gigs and, like, weddings and stuff like that because the money's good, and it is fun to play covers. Like, I just played a wedding a week ago, and that was great. It was, like, a 2-hour set of Fleetwood Mac and stuff like that, and that's not my true calling, but it's nice to be able to, yeah, make some coin and make people happy. But when I perform, like, on this tour that I'm putting together, it's going to be hopefully, like, 50 or 55 shows, and all of those I'm hoping to be dedicated audiences and performing only original music.
So what has stuck out to you over the years about the writing process? What has kept you coming back and invested in writing songs?
I mean, there's an indescribable feeling of pride and satisfaction. I think when anybody creates anything that they're proud of, so that's a pretty big high to just feel like something you've made is awesome. It's taken me a long time to get to that point, but the process of songwriting itself, I mean, yeah, it's like self-exploration. It's really cathartic. I'll often describe songwriting as like distilling a feeling down to a tiny, clearer, purer form. If the feeling is like a cloud, you're like distilling vapor into a raindrop, and it's packaged and structured and beautiful instead of like the swirl that was inside you. So yeah, that's just really satisfying to make, and it's therapeutic. And it feels like real life magic when a song I write travels through physical space or the internet or whatever and reaches another person and elicits any sort of reaction inside of them. That feels like the closest thing that I know about to like a spell, like a wizard's spell.
Is there a particular style of music that you focus on when you write and perform? What do you mostly write and perform?
I think it probably falls under Americana, but I've never really understood what that genre means. But yeah, I think I live somewhere between like folk music and pop music and rock. It definitely depends. When when I'm writing, I write alone, and it'll be on a guitar or a piano, and usually an acoustic guitar or a lightly distorted electric at the very most. But then I have just different iterations of bands that sound different depending on the instruments. Sometimes it'll be me and a cello, and those are way softer, folkier sets. But then here in Davis, I also have a full rock band where I'm on rhythm guitar, and we have a lead guitarist, a bassist, and a drummer. And like we're performing tomorrow in Sacramento for 12 concerts in the park, opening up for Michael Mercagi. But that's going to be an event with like 9,000 people at it, and we're going to go super hard. I'm like screaming during a lot of the songs there. And yeah, just a lot of the songs I write can be adapted to be solo on a guitar or with violins or a piano or a harp, but they also can be sped up or changed rhythmically to be more supported by a full rock band. So kind of somewhere between folk and rock and pop.
You've been organizing DIY touring for a long time in your career. What are some parts of performing live and touring in general that have stuck out to you over the years? What are some of your favorite parts about it?
Yeah, it feels powerful to be able to captivate people. I have like a big voice, which I feel fortunate to have and put a lot of time and effort into. Yeah, just to make people feel is pretty awesome. That's definitely one of my favorite things about performing. I mean, this tour I'm doing, I did a tour last summer where I was on the road by myself for 110 days. That was a little too much, but I think I did about 70 shows in that amount of time and just I drove my van like almost 18,000 miles. I played on like a boat in a lake in Missouri. I played at a firehouse in New York City, just like a sorority house along the way. Just like all of these different, and part of it was like opening for Hobo Johnson, which is a band from Sacramento, and those were, sold out rooms of 600 people. And then there was a show that was somebody's living room on like a Tuesday night in Colorado in Longmont, and there were 4 people there, and he just like cooked us dinner, and I played a short set, and they interviewed me while I played, and then he cooked us all dinner, and we all just hung out and watched alien movies. All that to say, performing music and like hitting the road with it is such a cool vessel to travel with. Having music be the reason that you end up in places, and it just makes so many cool connections and friendships with all sorts of different people. So yeah, I think my favorite part is the interaction with people, either during the show itself or surrounding the show or traveling for music. I just end up in a lot of fun places that I never would have been, and yeah, it's just awesome. Another example is I'm gonna play at somebody's like a family's house, and it's like 45 minutes outside of Tucson in Arizona, in a small mining town, and they want to keep it private and they don't want to invite a lot of people, so they're paying me a flat rate. It's super generous to just come to their house and play for like 9 or 10 of them in a living room. And that's kind of one of the shows I'm most excited for, because it's just, that to me is just like, wow, that's a memory I'm going to have forever. And I'm excited to meet this family and be a part of each other's experiences.
And is there anything that you hope audience members will be able to take away from your shows when they come and see you?
Yeah, I think just honesty, just being really frank with ourselves. Yeah, I hope that they walk away being like, wow, that was a human experience. There's all sorts of performance and performers, but what I really want to deliver to audiences is something that makes them feel seen as just dirty, messy humans, and not in a shaming way, but something that makes them feel like a weight is lifted, of like, oh yeah, that resonated with a part of me, that vibrated strings inside of me that are sometimes hard to, like, music helps us feel. And so I want to help people feel their feelings, probably maybe more that are more uncomfortable. I write pretty sad stuff, but I'm like a really happy person, and I think that's a result of sitting with my feelings and like expressing them through music. The album that I'm going to be touring with, that's being worked on right now as I'm walking around this neighborhood, is called There You Are, and the sort of premise that I'm going with for the theme of the album is just everywhere you go, there you are. You can try to like run from yourself or distract yourself from yourself or hide yourself or numb yourself, but at the end of the day, like, it's just going to be all of us are sitting alone inside of our heads, and we have to face ourselves on some level. So that's what I want my music to do for people, to help facilitate that.
And is there anything else in general that you'd like to add or promote about things that are happening in your music career?
No, come on out if you're listening. Come on out to the show at Gold Hill. Come say hi. I want to make some new friends while I do this. And hope you give the tunes a listen if you got the time. I think that's it. Let me play at your house too. I'm really on this tour just like, when I go solo around the country like this, and the further I get from home and just kind of the longer that I'm going to be out, I just tend to say yes to everything, because I don't need to worry about paying out band members or like the experience of the people that I'm taking with me. I'm just having to worry about myself, and it allows me to just get myself into weird situations, and I'm the only one who's responsible for any discomfort that comes along with that. And that's just where I have the most, there's like such a richness to life when moving around the world like that. So if anyone's listening and is interested in hosting, I'm easy to find. Not a lot of Lefkoffs out there in the world. So find me and shoot me a message. We'll make it happen in your living room or in your backyard or at your favorite bar down the street or at a concert hall or whatever. And thanks for helping to spread the word for live music. I think it's more important than ever for audiences to be coming to different coastal spaces to see music, and for independent artists to be performing live. So thanks for supporting that by spreading the word.
Thank you so much to Nat for coming on board and joining us for the podcast. If you want to see him performing live, then you can check him out at the Gold Hill General Store located at 531 Main Street in Gold Hill on Thursday, October 3rd, 2024, starting at 7 p.m. If you want to learn more about Nat in the meantime, then be sure to head to his website at Nat Lefkoff, that's NatLefkoff.com. You can also check him out on Facebook and Instagram at Nat Lefkoff, and be sure to check out his 3 albums, his self-titled debut, his sophomore album Heavy Lifting, and his newest album There You Are, which was released on September 14th, wherever you get your music. And now for this week's music mentions. Head to Busey Brews, located at 70 East 1st Street in Nederland, to celebrate Oktoberfest coming very, very soon, and the 5th anniversary of Busey Brews as well. On Friday, October 4th, starting at 4 p.m., Lost Penny will be performing. On Saturday, October 5th at 3:30 p.m., S'more Grass will be performing live. And on Sunday, October 6th at 4 p.m., PJ Moon will be performing live. Be sure to celebrate Oktoberfest and the 5th anniversary of Busey Brews by heading over to the location in Nederland. This is a podcast exclusive promotion. Head to the Coal Creek Canyon Improvement Association, located at 31528 Highway 72 in Coal Creek, on Friday, October 4th, starting at 7 p.m. for an open mic night. Head to the Gold Hill Inn, located at 401 Main Street in Gold Hill, on Thursday, October 3rd at 7:30 p.m. to see Jeffrey Fokal performing live. On Friday, October 4th at 8 p.m. to see Deer Creek Sharpshooters performing live, and on Sunday, October 6th at 7 p.m. to see the Wildwoods performing live. Head to the Gold Hill General Store, located at 531 Main Street in Gold Hill, on Thursday, October 3rd, starting at 7 p.m. to see Nat Lefkoff performing live. Head to Howlin' Wind Brewing, located at 51A Main Street in Rollinsville, on Saturday, October 5th, starting at 4 p.m. to see Tyler Ballantyne and Bridget Spinney performing live. Head to the Jamestown Mercantile, located at 108 Main Street in Jamestown, on Wednesday, October 2nd, starting at 5 p.m. for an open mic night, on Thursday, October 3rd, starting at 7 p.m. to see Mercy Club performing live, and on Friday, October 4th, starting at 7 p.m. to see Free Range Marmot performing live. Head to Knotted Root Brewing, located at 250 North Caribou Street in Nederland, on Thursday, October 3rd, starting at 5 p.m. for a fundraising party featuring performances from New Family Dog, the No Go Gillbillies, and Kaylin the Miller. Also be sure to head there every Friday at 7 p.m. for a DJ night, every second Friday at 7:30 p.m. for a reggae DJ night, and every Sunday at 5 p.m. for Jazz Sundays. The final Nederland Farmers Market of 2024 is occurring very soon at 80 East 2nd Street in Nederland on Saturday, October 6th. The market starts at 10 a.m. Music starts at 11 a.m. with Melt and the Family Band performing live, and then at 1:30 p.m. Atomga will end up performing for the rest of the event. Be sure to head to the final farmers market in Nederland of 2024. And finally, head to the Very Nice Brewing Company in either Gilpin County or in Nederland to check out some awesome live music. Head to the location in Gilpin County at 180 Jankowski Drive in Blackhawk on Saturday, October 5th, starting at 5 p.m. to see Strange Birds performing live. Or head to the Nederland location, located at 20 East Lakeview Drive, number 112 in the Caribou Village Shopping Center, on Friday, October 4th, starting at 6 p.m. to see Ravenwolf performing live, and on Saturday, October 5th, starting at 5 p.m. to see Reservoir Fog performing live. Did we miss you or any of your performances? Do you want to submit your music listing in the Peak to Peak area? Do you have updates to your business or to your upcoming performances? Please be sure to call 303-810-5409 or email The Mountaineer at info@themountaineer.com or me at media@themountaineer.com to be included in the next print edition or the next podcast of The Mountaineer. Thank you so much to everybody who tuned in for this week's Music of the Mountains, Where to Be and What to See, brought to you by the Mountaineer Podcast. If you like this episode and want to share it or others around with whoever you see fit, then be sure to head to the mtnearpodcast.buzzsprout.com or to the mtnear.com/the-mountain-ear-podcast for easily shareable links. And if you want to be involved in the podcast in any way, whether you want to be interviewed or you want to submit a segment or you have advertising you want us to put out there, then be sure to email me at media@themountaineer.com and we will get something sorted for you. I will be back with our regularly scheduled programming on Monday. Have a great rest of your day.
Where'd you go? You've been gone for a while. Drag your body on an endless mile. From the hill I saw the way things die, and I was choking back tears while I waved goodbye.
The song that you are currently listening to is called The Hill, and it is by Nat Lefkoff from his latest album, There You Are, which you can stream along with his first two albums, Nat Lefkoff and Heavy Lifting, wherever you get your music. If you want to learn more about Nat Lefkoff as a musician, then be sure to head to his social media at Nat Lefkoff on both Facebook and Instagram, and be sure to head to his website at natlefkoff.com. And finally, if you want to see him live in the Peak to Peak area, then be sure to head to the Gold Hill General Store on Thursday, October 3rd, starting at 7 p.m.
I heard some music in an empty room, going deaf to your anthem's tune. I found the letter if you're looking for proof. I'm gonna stay right here and I could wait for you. Yeah, I could stay and I could wait for a minute. Watch you dangling and breaking your limits. You make some beauty and the world forgets it. Nothing makes me whole and I don't quite get it.
And that's it for our show. Subscribe online to get more access to more news, weekly updates to our community calendar, and a link to our YouTube channel by visiting themountaineer.com. Be sure to use the coupon code PODCAST when subscribing for a 10% discount, only available to our listeners. If you are in the local Peak to Peak area, be sure to pick up a print edition of The Mountaineer at a local business. I'm Dango Rose. Thank you for listening.